Okay. Night Country, episode 6, the big finale was last night. Thank God it's over. And it pretty much summed up to what I thought it was all along. But let's get into this. Looking through some articles this morning. This is TVShowfinder.com. This is an interview with Callie Reese, Evangeline Navarro from the show. And she weighs in on a possibility for a Navarro Danvers reteam and Night Country's Indigenous Heart. Well, first let's get to the reteam. She kind of puts the kibosh on that here in the article. She says these two women, her and Danvers, Jodie Foster respectively, have been through so much that maybe it's not a good thing. The possibility of a reteam is slim. Hopefully, I'm hoping so because I can care less about these two characters. I never had any empathy for them. I was never involved. They're just two really, really bad characters. The ending, I have no clue. It was the ambiguity levels there were just off the charts. I have no clue what's going on. If Evangeline's just a spirit of Alaska, uh, you know, the scene where she walks out on the ice for no apparent reason. Danvers falls through the ice. Evangeline has to go back to save her. Made no sense. So again, I have no sympathy for either of these characters. I've never felt anything for either of them. Just two terrible people, really. Far as police problem solving skills, I detected not much from either. Nothing to relate to with either of them. Poorly written, no depth, no dimension to either of them. So I'm hoping she means it when she doesn't want to do another team up, but you never know. You never know. So let's get to the second part of that, Night Country's Indigenous Heart, which by now, the whole time, that was the whole agenda of this show, which is the subjugation of Indigenous women everywhere. And this was represented by the plight of Annie Kay. And as we find out, she found out what the old Salal and Silver Sky Mines were up to. So, yeah, apparently Salal was encouraging Silver Sky to push the pollution levels higher because it helped in the scientists' research of microbiobes, which makes no sense. No sense. And that's the level of plot we have in this show. But Annie Kay on her own discovered all this. She found the cave, the hidden cave. She found the research. She was able to look through piles of scientific data all on her own and somehow discover this entire conspiracy between Silver Sky Mines and Salal. And she was murdered for it. Brutally murdered for it. Really just on a whim, the way it was shown. It was just kind of, men anger. Again, the women have to be silenced. And that was that. And it was a cold case for all this time. And this show went in so many different directions of who's the murderer, what's the conspiracy, is there spiritual forces somehow involved. Nothing ever melded, nothing ever gelled together. But in the end, we found out the true heroes. And there they are, the cleaning women, because they found out again that Annie found out again about the entire conspiracy between Salal and Silver Sky Mines. And they decided to seek justice on their own. And they rise up and they go to the research station and they take the scientist out at gunpoint out onto the ice. But to them, it's not murder. They, as I forget her name, but the main cleaning woman, the leader of this bunch, states they killed themselves when they killed Annie. So they had it coming. And towards the end of this article, it talks a little more about that, but it's just, Carrie Reese just goes on to rave just this whole Issa Lopez's, story, and it's not murder in her eyes and in the writing. It's not murder. It's just storytelling. It's just storytelling. So she says here, I just love that aspect of storytelling being the whole thing that wraps it all up. It's just storytelling. That's what wrapped it up. It's just these stories, these indigenous peoples. This is just a story, and you're going to tell this story. And it's again your choice to either decide if it's a truth or not. So it doesn't matter. Again, no accountability by any of these women. It doesn't matter. There's going to be no repercussions for what they did. And the whole thing was covered up. Liz is going to cover the whole thing up. And so there's no accountability for these women because what they did, which is the whole angle of this show, is they did what they felt was right. And that was the whole agenda all along. Thanks again for watching. And please hit the like and subscribe. Take care now. Bye bye.